That's wonderful. Thank you for taking the time to come and see us. There appears to be no questions. Thank you. Now, we were going to have a break, but Jane is here, and if we have Jane now, we'll just break until 11:25 instead of 11:20, otherwise she'll have to wait for us. Is that okay? Well, it is okay because I'm saying it. So Jane, where are you, Jane?
I printed off my wee right because I'm probably going to be garbling, and I don't know if I've got enough on that side or not. Oh, hang on, is that one? Thank you, there's probably more than enough. So hello. Thank you. Right. Okay, climate change. I'm concerned our youth are feeling depressed, even suicidal, believing the world is about to end because of climate change. And more so now that I've learned New Zealand is placed 8th in the top 10 resilient countries due to our location, due to the ND Gaines ranking. Our habitat and climate, because we're cooler, makes us a lifeboat in the event of mass human migration, which means basically we should not be subject to the climate change hysteria that's gripping our country as we're outside the climate change areas. A smidge of history. Climate meetings began in 1971 after a group came together to discuss the state of the world and decided to lead the way in introducing the climate agenda. They used words such as sustainability and biodiversity and set out a program of how they felt the nation should live by cutting carbon emissions and changing how people lived and ate, etc. Ironically, while they were there stipulating that air travel must be cut to save the planet, they themselves had 150 jet planes flying to Davos for their meeting last year, polluting the atmosphere with the planes emitting 9,700 tonnes of CO2, which equal the emissions of 305,000 average cars per week. So do they really care about carbon emissions? And to be truly carbon neutral, all life on Earth must cease. The largest polluters are China at 14 million tonnes, America 6, and China and India at 3.5 mil. And apparently they're exempt from penalties. And in the meanwhile, we are 70.3. And we're restricted in our abilities to farm, provide food, manufacture, or travel. And because of this, businesses are going offshore, and that's detrimental to our country. Meanwhile, the world's richest billionaires are currently buying up farmland and coastal properties en masse all around the world, and even in Brighton, New Brighton apparently, properties are being bought up by an American developer. Do they practice what they preach? I've been very disappointed to realise that those who continue to live themselves without abiding by their own rules are the ones pushing the sea level rise and other climate changes. So it's because of this I'm making the suggestion that the sea level allocation of 318 million be put where it needs to go, and that's to pay down the council debt, because the debt is phenomenal. I'm Ngāi Tahu. I'm greatly concerned by the deal that Gary Moore signed to council in 2007 when Ngāi Tahu paid the 52.2 million in forming a partnership. The result has been very expensive, an expensive deal which has surely affected the council's finances and the ratepayers, as the rate, which began at 8.2 mil, has increased to the exorbitant 10.8 plus. And there are still 7 years left to go until the 24-year right of renewal expires. So what will be the debt payable by that time? And because at the moment you're paying 200 over and above the general rate. So what is the council going to do about this? And because this sounds, as I said, Bates versus the post office. LGT, long-term plan 16, page 16, the potential of transfer of council property to owned property to Ngāi Tahu. Please explain what this means, as I'm aware this company has received a great deal of property in the past to the financial debt of the ratepayer. So what property or properties are on the table for them now? Debt. What will happen to the ratepayers' properties if the debt exceeds the LGFA ceiling? We have everything to lose since our properties have been put up for collateral. So what protection do we have? Water. Christchurch water is the purest in the world, and polluting such a sought-after commodity is financial suicide. Restoring it to its natural state would not only benefit our debt, but it would improve the health of many of the residents who have become very ill internally and externally because of its detrimental chemicals. Three Waters are by far the council's biggest burden at approximately $5 billion, therefore we need to be freed of it. And then, of course, I've got your job as our elected representatives is to go back to central government and tell them this model is unaffordable and unachievable during a cost of living crisis.
Tim?
Yeah, thank you very much for your submission. If we separated climate change from pollution, what if we as a council concentrated on trying to reduce pollution or improve pollution management?
Okay, I know that in the old days they used to burn a lot of the rubbish, and they burned it at such a high level that it just disappeared in the atmosphere and it didn't cause any problems. So why don't we go back to that, burning, and then you haven't got the waste being piled up in different areas and things like that, maybe?
Well, it's also plastics in the environment, so that, you know, like you see things on seals and that type of thing. So if we as a council, because I like the cycle lanes and they're just useful and they are logical. So if you took the argument with regards to climate change out and just you're looking at an improved social environment, should we look at that, concentrate on that rather than an argument over climate, what and how, that type of thing?
I'm probably a little bit against the multitude of cycle lanes.
Okay.
So
Yep.
just a
Cool.
bit.
Yep.
So and remembering too that a lot of these, where was I going to go? A lot of electric cars and things like that are, there's power is needed. Oh, flip, where am I going? Power. Sorry, I've lost it. I had a thing in my head.
But thank you very much for your submission. Cheers.
Okay, thank you very much for making time to come and see us and providing this with us. That's
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
I will come back to you when I've
Good on you.
figured it out.
Okay, we'll have a break and be back here at 11:25, please. Thank you, and Suki will be here.